Welcome everyone, Monica here with a tarot spread and a reading that I've done for the upcoming solar eclipse in Leo, which is taking place in a few days' time. This is taking place here in Australia on Thursday the 13th of August in the early hours of the morning. Now a few comments on the upcoming solar eclipse. So a solar eclipse takes place at the new moon, and it is essentially a very powerful new moon, like a supercharged or a super strength new moon. It's in the fire sign of Leo, and being in a fire sign means that this is a very dynamic time, a very potent time. It's associated with uprisings and protests, but also with the ending of significant rulers or leaders. It is associated with fires, naturally, being in a fire sign, and with war and things like that. But I wanted to have a look at how this will impact myself personally on a personal level. And so I did a spread that can be used by anyone to look at how an eclipse will impact them. It's important to note, though, that this eclipse is what's called a South Node eclipse. The South Node being a point that is associated with spirituality, with karmic debts, with clearing the ledger, so to speak, becoming more spiritual or undertaking spiritual practices, being very generous with other people, doing cleansing, any sort of spiritual work that supports doing cleansing, meditation, rest, recovery, grace, those sort of things. So while it's a dynamic eclipse, I kind of feel like being a South Node eclipse, in a sense, perhaps softens that, or perhaps I'm hoping that. So an eclipse, any eclipse, is essentially a giant power surge or a power outage, and it will affect people in different ways. Some people won't be affected at all, because the eclipse will only be applicable to a person if it's within a couple of degrees of their natal planets, especially at the sun and the moon. And so for many people that's not the case at all. But for others it will be impactful, and it will either bring things into their life or it will take things away from their life. With that in mind, I did a simple 5-card spread where I asked the 5 questions that I thought would be fitting for an eclipse time. Now, one final point to make is that an eclipse lasts for weeks and months after its time, and potentially a couple of weeks even beforehand. So the impact isn't felt right on the eclipse, though it could be that, but more commonly the impacts of any eclipse are felt 2 weeks to up to 3 months after its time. With it being in a fixed sign of Leo, its impacts will be felt much longer than that, actually, and I've read up to a year we can expect the impacts of this eclipse to be felt. Okay, so the 5 questions that I'm asking, the 5 cards, are: number 1, what area of my life will this eclipse impact? Number 2, how can I best support myself and my health during this time? Card number 3, what enters? What will this eclipse bring into my life? Card number 4, what exits? What will leave as a result of this eclipse? What will this eclipse take away? And finally, card number 5, what can I do to avoid or minimize any potential negative effects of this eclipse? So I used the Mythic Tarot for this, and I've already done the spread, and these are the cards I received. So card number 1, what area of my life will this eclipse impact? And for that I got the Two of Cups. And instantly I knew that this will impact my relationship with my husband, or any relationship with other people as well. The 12 Cups isn't just a romantic relationship, it can be business relationships or any important relationships in my life. But I thought of my relationship with my husband because that is naturally the main romantic relationships and the only romantic relationship in my life. So that was interesting to see. That is, the central card. Card number 2, how can I best support myself and my health during this time? And for that I got the 3 of Pentacles. And I thought about the 3 of Pentacles in 2 ways to support myself. The first way is just looking at the element of earth that the Pentacles is. And so this talks about supporting my 5 senses, anything to do with my 5 senses, my body, so what I eat, how I sleep. Sleep is really important, what I eat, making sure that it's good, nourishing meals, what I listen to and what I pay attention to, what I watch, right? That's another sense, what we see, really, really important, what we hear, really, really important. In fact, music is a great medicine for eclipse times, really putting on gentle music, soothing music. It could be atmospheric music, spiritually sensitive music, nothing that's jarring, angry, too upbeat, or too energetic, because again the Leo eclipse is already a very energetic and dynamic time. So that was the first thing, paying attention to what I'm eating, what I'm reading, what I'm watching, anything that's coming into my life. The other thing that I thought of is my work. I can best support myself through focusing on work and doing what I like to do and what I'm good at. Not in terms of supporting myself financially, but because having that kind of mental focus is incredibly wonderful for the mind as well. Yes, we can all complain about work at times and, wanting freedom, but at the same time, work is incredibly anchoring. And I think that this is letting me know that I need to pay attention to or focus on work that is really important to me. Okay, that includes my tarot work, of course, and my astrology work. I think that's what's really this is saying to me. Okay, card number 3, what enters? What will this eclipse bring into my life? So I got the 8 of Swords, and I really wanted to start over again. Yeah, so this is the main protagonist, Orestes, having to deal with the Furies, which are angry, so this is facing to some limitations or obstacles or things that are unpleasant, while having Apollo, the sun god, right next to him, but Apollo isn't looking very pleased. I'm not going to go into the whole mythology of it, but essentially when I thought about this, I thought what's bringing into my life is things that I need to face that I feel blocked in or restricted by. Okay, very, very simple. That's the bottom line. And I might not like that, but there's no point in postponing things that I've been avoiding, for example. And the book does talk about this being around decision making, so I kind of have some idea what this is about. But in a nutshell, it is facing up to my own personal limitations or things that I find are weighing me down or that I haven't dealt with and I need to deal with, and I've just been postponing things or just not dealing with it because it's just easier not to, since I'm human. And that's what we do sometimes. Then what exits? What will this eclipse take away, or what is leaving during this eclipse? And I got the Knight of Swords. This was really interesting because I thought, well, what's exiting is Number one, the need to be on the go and to be combative or to be constantly, after something, or, being challenging, that kind of constant action. This is a very much an action card, whereas you see what's coming in is very fixed. This person isn't going anywhere. They are sitting with their issue and having to face it. Whereas what's going out is the need to, chase after things or do lots of things or be very energetic, very dynamic, very action driven, but also very combative. The Knight of Swords is a very argumentative and combative kind of person. And also there's two people here which suggest duality. So it's saying what's going out is the need to split myself, and what's coming in is, yes, difficult to face, but I think it's going to lead to more holistic or wholesome way of life for me. This has actually already kind of happened. I've had to say goodbye to things that I really cared for, but I just don't have the time for it. Very quickly, this is about my work at the local community gardens. I'm going to completely step away from it. I feel the need to just look after myself and my time. The next 6 months will be pretty busy, being sports season for our kids and the whole lot. But I think it's, this eclipse is really going to ask me to put time and effort into the things that really matter to me or that I'm being called for. And for me, that my tarot work has actually been a huge calling. Like it's really, that's really been demonstrated to me in the past year. So the final card, the fifth and final card, was what can I do to avoid or to minimize any potential negative effects of this eclipse? Because eclipses were often observed to bring painful endings or difficult times. That doesn't have to be the case though, although I've certainly experienced that when I had a very close eclipse within 1 degree of my natal sun, and it was a south node eclipse again, and let's just say the following 6 months were atrocious for me a few years back. But anyway, that's a different story. So what can I do to minimize any negative effects? And I love, love, love seeing temperance here. Okay, love seeing temperance here. Number one, it's saying that what I need to do to minimize any negative effects is to have balance in my life, to bring about balance and healing, right? There's Iris, the rainbow goddess. I'm going to just briefly read what the book says about this card as a guidance card, because it relates to the very first card about the relationship being impacted with the energy of this eclipse. So the book says, the appearance of temperance in a spread implies the need for a flow of feeling in relationship. Iris, guardian of the rainbow, suggests the potential for harmony and cooperation resulting in a good relationship or a happy marriage. We are challenged with the issue of learning to develop a balanced heart, while also gently reminded that the fool cannot remain forever, even with the beautiful Iris, and must pass on to the next moral lesson. So I love seeing that there. In particular, given that my previous reading was around the challenges I've been experiencing as I'm entering my late 40s. I'm turning 47 this year, and they haven't been pleasant, particularly mentally to deal with. And I think, I just got to remember that I feel like with temperance, there's a divine energy of help surrounding me. Whenever I get temperance, I feel like, the same as with the star, I feel like there's a divine element of support present. I kind of turn to that and to deeply spiritual practices, particularly turning to goddess work, very compassionate goddesses, or figures from mythology and religion, such as Mother Mary, Kuan Yin, and so on. So this was a really beautiful, beautiful card to see here. One of the best, especially being a major, considering that you know, what's coming in isn't fun. The Eight of Swords. I mean, who wants the Eight of Swords, really? But I know that there is a reason and a purpose for this, and I don't reject any of it. In fact, I'm happy to work with this and embrace it all and the journey and everything that it brings. So, with all that being said, if you're still here, thank you. Thank you for watching. I hope that this eclipse time brings you quiet and peace. I hope it brings you solitude, to look after yourself, to have time for yourself. You're more than welcome to use the spread and see what comes up for you as well. You can ask any questions, of course, as with any tarot reading. But I just want to I guess, to conclude this video, just say thank you for being here and thanks for watching. And until my next video, take care.